League of Legends is dying! Well, it's a complicated subject, honestly, because it's true, but it's kind of false at the same time. The glory days of League of Legends are behind it. It's not gonna happen ever again, and there's no hope for League of Legends to once again just get that lightning in a bottle. But at the same time, is it really dying? Well, yeah, technically, probably the graph of players is constantly just slowly moving to the bottom. But will it ever die, and what will that even look like, honestly? Will it be Riot just deciding that, hey, we're gonna close down this game because we're not making enough money? Or will we wait until the moment there when there's not enough people online to even make a single match? And that will happen sooner or later. That is the inevitable fate of every game, in fact. League of Legends will sooner or later die. But how fast is it dying currently? Who knows?
I have a problem. I am constantly trying to make bite-sized videos, and so I'm trying to find these simple topics to talk about. But even when I'm just talking about a single tweet, this happens. I am the monster we created. But speaking of fun topics to tackle, we got another one. So, at this point...
Is it how everyone's disappointed in Arcane? And the majority of Arcane fans are literally just there because they're degenerates who want to ship everyone in a gay way? Probably. Honestly, yeah, that would kind of be where my money is at. I did not hate Arcane Season 2. I thought it's good. Was it a little bit of too much MacGuffin? Oh, now this empowered woman who's black is a light mage that can counter LeBlanc? Yeah. Yeah. Was the story diluted and dumber? Yes. Did the character motivations make no sense? Yes. But I still kind of enjoyed it, not gonna lie. Still a solid 7 out of 10.
After an ending that might have been a miss to some, especially due to the story shifting to something more arcane, Arcane is still regarded as a stellar series to behold. On average, the reviews are simply really high, and that's both for the critics and the mass audiences. So, if you take a step back and have a look at what happened,
well, to be fair, the reality of these situations is the mass opinions of people on a delicate subjects have never actually mattered. Are the masses always right on simple things? Yes. On average, the masses will be almost always right. But the moment it actually becomes delicate, yeah, the masses are kind of useless. Thus the saying, the useless unwashed masses.
Riot simply managed to get people really excited for a universe that is based around their core game. I mean, even by Netflix's own statistics. For a while, Arcane became the most popular series around the globe. And yet, Arcane didn't...
I'm pretty sure that's Season 1 Arcane, though. Yeah, that's Season 1, not Season 2. I think that these things should probably be distinct.
As much of a perfect landing as some might think. Initially, the first thing that was pointed out was Arcane's budget. This piece of news circled the internet as Arcane was still going, and it was immediately taken out of context.
I saw this. I didn't actually look into this, but this seems about right. Animation costs a lot of money. 20 minutes of animation on average roughly cost 10 mil in China. Well, not China, but Japan, and I guess and China. But Netflix does it a lot more, and it's, you know, it's probably way more expensive. So 250 mil? Sure, why honestly not? These are numbers I am not familiar with, but seems about maybe right potentially.
In case you don't know, Riot spent about $250 million to push out Arcane, which turned into a really funny drama for a really funny reason.
But you know, the idea that this is a financial miss is obviously false. Even if the show made $0 from just the show's revenue, however the fuck it's calculated, We still have skins sold, probably toys. I don't know if Riot has toys, but they should, honestly. And things of that nature. So, did they actually lose money in the grand scheme of things? No. Riot made money.
No one had any idea what they are talking about, as it tends to be on the internet. You see, on one side you had a lot of people who thought, that's a lot of money. How is it possible that Riot wasted so much money on simple animation, while at the same time getting an ending that is not satisfactory? But on the other side, you also got a lot of people from the industry who said that this is quite cheap for 18 episodes of 40 minutes. If this was Pixar making this...
18 episodes, yeah. 18 episodes of 40 minutes? Probably. Pixar, I have no idea how much Pixar costs. But again, anime, on average, 20 minutes, 10 million. Or sometimes even 10 minutes, 10 million. It's really expensive depending on the quality and studio.
The budget would be way higher. So people from the industry thought that Riot was simply underpaying people. Yep, it was a slavery work all along. And yet, no one realized
I support that.
That most of Arcane is actually 2D. You would be surprised how little of 3D models Arcane is actually using. I would say about 80% of the entire series are just 2D paintings. Obviously, that's why everything could be cheaper. But regardless, what this proved is that no one knows anything. This could be just a random number to us because we don't have the context. And that's not to mention that the point is that after Arcane finally came out, it probably didn't make the money back, but that could be because of a totally separate reason. The money that was shown includes everything that happened around Arcane, including the very beginning where Riot was even trying to figure out how to start this project together with Fortiche. So obviously, this entire setup is more expensive. After you get the studio rolling and you have proper workflow, things are suddenly cheaper. So yeah.
Oh, they set up their own studio. Is that right? First time I heard about that one.
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of that money were simply experiments. But also, all of
experiments or not, setting up your studio or not, an expense is a fucking expense at the end of the day.
This also has another side to it. Maybe Riot didn't make Arcane with the idea of direct profit. Maybe this was a long-term investment in the universe, so that there...
Yeah, Riot does a lot of long-term investment things. That's one of the strange things about Riot, that they are actually fine with the long-term investment things. I never honestly looked at Arcane, or honestly anything that Riot does in general, as a short-term investment strategy. AKA, we make this, it makes money, we big happy. Now, obviously this is gonna bloom into other things, and that's kind of the idea.
Other future projects, including games related to Arcane, could be bigger over time. And this is what Trindamir directly referenced in a comment. People who look at the world through short-term, transactional, cynical lens really struggle to understand Riot. This has been true with various people trying to claim that high-quality free games won't work, that esports will never work, that our music was insane, and now that Arcane wasn't awesome and worth it. These people think we make things like Arcane to sell skins, when in reality we sell skins to make things like Arcane. Riot is a mission-driven company where writers are constantly striving to make it better to be a player. That is why we have successfully done that over and over again, across multiple games and now multiple businesses, mediums, games, sports.
Who the fuck was Trindamir? He wasn't a... I think he's just a balance guy or something at Riot, because he kinda gets the point, but the way he writes about this makes me feel that well, not feel, it's blatantly obvious in my situation, that he has no fucking clue what he's talking about, and he's doing his best to actually pat at the real opinion in this case. Well, a pat at the real statement in this case. Because he's kind of getting the overall message right, but all the small details that he's talking about, like, for example, equating short-term transactional and cynical lens as the same things, is extremely wrong and just shows that he doesn't understand truly what he's talking about. Kinda hilarious.
music, and animation. Do we get everything right?
Oh, actually, let's check.
Nope. But we are not focused on the short-term extraction of profits. We are focused on delivering exceptional value to our audience over the long term, again and again and again. To be clear, Arcane...
Wait! This guy is the CEO of Riot? Who is Trindamir, a Riot CEO? Bro, how the fuck do you write that as a CEO? I'm sorry, did you just... Did you try to dumb yourself down to write this one? Or how the fuck does this happen? What do you mean you wrote this as a fucking CEO? Oh my... Well, to be fair, a CEO doesn't necessarily mean that he's a financial person, but fuck me! Oh, how do you... Dude, either he dumbed this down to as much as possible to get the point across, which again, as I said, is done, but damn! Man, that's... If he really dumbed this down, man, he tried hella hard, not gonna lie. The CEO of Riot, that is insane!
Crashed for players, and so it crashed for us. This comment got quite big. And it's because it directly confirmed that Arcane was not made for profit. As we mentioned before, it is something that is building the brand. Now yes, eventually that also turns into profit, but that is all in the long term, as Trindamir mentioned. Arcane was simply made...
Yeah, you see what I mean? Arcane does not turn into profit in a long term. It's an investment that grows other things. That investment that grows other things is a guaranteed loss, at least in this situation. So how the fuck can you be a CEO and write this? I don't even know. I don't even know.
It's to
Either it's gonna be an investment and it makes money for some reason, or it's an investment and it doesn't make money for some reason. Okay, you can't say that the investment money for the future in fucking 3 turns is not lost. This is. Wait. Are we playing fucking crooked finances now? Because if the studio... We need to Google this. Are we playing foul games, right? Who owns the studio that made Arcane? Arcane, titled on screen as Arcane League of Legends, is an adult animation blah blah, created by Christian Link and Alex C. It was produced by the French animation studio or under the surveillance of Riot Games, distributed by Netflix. So they don't fucking own this. Okay, so for a moment I thought that they're doing the dirty fucking shit that, hey, this isn't a loss because we actually own the studio. And effectively this works like this. Big company creates sister company, gives them money to do X. Technically, altogether, no money has technically been lost because it's still in your company ecosystem. But that's not what's happening here. I'm so confused.
To make something cool that also enhances the universe for all the other games involved in it. Which, yes, you guessed it, also includes the MMO. More about that one in just a moment. But
okay, who... At this point, is the MMO happening? The last time I heard about it was like a year or 2 ago at this point.
Also, this directly confirmed that skins are not tied to products to be sold. Instead, it is the other way around. Skins are...
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, Nick. If you're gonna believe that, I have a bridge to sell you. Fuck off.
Are sold so that Riot can make other cool products. Even if those products are made at a loss. Or at least, again, a figurative loss. Because eventually all kinds of brand building should be turned into profit. But those numbers are just really hard to track. But that also
Not really. Those numbers are super easy to track.
ironically gives us some context as to why Riot is pushing for all of those gacha systems. Everyone knows that gacha systems in games bring back a lot of money. And I mean, it is so much money compared to normal buying of skins that everything else looks like a dwarf. Now, is this reasoning redeeming the fact that Riot is using gacha systems? Well, I don't think there is a single positive argument you can go for when it comes to gambling. So here, at the very least, we get a glimpse at where the money is going from all of this. With that said, after Tryndamere confirmed that Riot just wants to make cool things, and that's why they are fine with pushing out things that are not profitable, some people pointed out some other things that were cut because they were not profitable. And no, we are not talking about Legends of Runeterra. In fact, that game technically proves their point, because Riot is keeping it alive at a reasonable cost. If this was any other company, that game would be done. No, instead, a lot of—
Is Legends of Runeterra dead? Coincidentally, I heard a week ago I saw something that it's dead. Didn't actually pay attention, but wow.
people brought up Riot Forge. Did they make really cool games with it? Absolutely. Did they have a profitable reach?
No?
Not really, but Riot still sees Riot Forge as a success because it was a really cool experiment. This is—
No, they see Riot Forge as a success because it proved that it can do the concept that it was designed to do. This is the same situation as Hi-Fi Rush being studio being cancelled, even though it actually did make money, because it didn't do the thing that it was supposed to do, and that's the thing that matters the most. This is why Riot Forge is successful, because it proved that to be able to make high quality enough things. So Riot is effectively in a similar position to Microsoft, which no one of you for some reason fucking understand. Let me explain Microsoft, and then imagine that Riot is like 10% of Microsoft in this aspect. When Microsoft can do 10 retarded things in a row that are literally going to cost them billions and fail, and that is completely fine. They can do Stadia 10 times in a row, because Microsoft is printing enough money, and they have enough of a potential to create the next big thing that all of these things failing don't matter as long as they eventually make one thing that succeeds, because that one thing that succeeds is gonna sweep all those failures under the rug and they won't literally matter even on paper. That's how these things work. And Riot Forge is kind of, well, Riot with these things is kind of looking at it in the same way to a degree, but on a much, much, much smaller scale.
something that was confirmed in the past. But here's the thing, most people overlook the fact that after Riot cut off the Forge brand, which essentially means that Riot will be no longer partnering with indie studios to make cool, smaller games, well, at the same time, Riot also expanded their R&D teams. This is why if you go to their job listings, there is just R&D everywhere. And that's because they confirmed that they are working on multiple games, which should also include some single-player story-driven games. That's right! Riot is doing what Riot Forge did, except now they are doing it under the main Riot brand. So taking this comment into account, it seems like Riot just moved Forge into the main company, so that their single-player games could potentially have higher budget, but also bigger reach. So maybe the entire time it wasn't a question of how profitable it can be.
No, that reasoning... Actually, this reasoning could be correct, but just takes the doubt.
Maybe instead it was all about how can we make sure more players get to play these games. Which yes, in the end that also technically makes them more profitable. As to whether that ends up working, well, we'll have to wait and see. But the reason why I am bringing this up at all is because all of this is also tied to another thing that came out. Because later we got a Bloomberg article where they talked about how massive of a budget Arcane got, but also they added in a new piece of information.
Also, I never look at these things because I couldn't care. But what's the average budget for, I don't know, a 10-episode Netflix show on average? It's probably close to 150 mil minimum, right? Anyway. So 250, is that really that much? Again, completely making this up because I don't know these numbers, but, you know, it kind of seems like I'm probably more in the right than wrong.
Which, technically speaking, wasn't properly sourced. Yep, it could be made up for all we know. But apparently, after Season 1 of Arcane dropped, while new players signed up for free League of Legends accounts, not very many stuck around, according to 2 people with knowledge of signups. Now this piece
no one's surprised about that. I would be absolutely flabbergasted if someone at Riot came out and said, well, we let out Arcane and Arcane too, and we expected people to play the game forever. No, that's definitely... No. That's impossible. There's no way this was an unexpected thing.
Piece of news immediately circled the internet because it is quite hilarious. Arcane got many people excited for this universe, which was mainly League, but League has nothing to do with Arcane gameplay-wise.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I mean, you need to be an idiot to think that people are gonna be like, oh, League of Legends is just like Arcane. No.
We're talking about the jump from really cool storytelling and story-driven characters to,
nothing.
Getting flamed and farming minions so that you can hit a base. Now, of course, all the new articles immediately took this out of context and they said that, hey, after Arcane 2 came out, things are bad. But the truth is, we still have no idea what happened after the finale dropped. What was written here...
I mean, people did think, well, has Arcane killed a League of Legends? No, but it's not saving it at the same time. I know people think... Some people definitely think that Arcane killed League of Legends, but that's obviously not gonna be true. But that's most likely gonna be the title of the video.
Here still only relates to Season 1. That's when people jumped in and realized, hey, I don't like League. But the assumption is that after Season 2 dropped, the exact same thing happened.
I wonder if though they even had a slight bump in player base after Dragon's Blood. By the way, if you have watched the League of Legends, go watch Dragon's Blood. It has 2 seasons, 3 seasons, I forget how many, but it's great. It's great. Season 1 League of Legends better than Season 1 Arcane, better than Dragon's Blood in general. But Dragon's Blood in general is better than the whole of Arcane. Because, you know, it's Season 2 or 3 or how many seasons it has actually delivers where Season 2 Arcane completely fails. It has epic fights, it has story, it has likable characters. It doesn't have that much character development, and this is why, well, this is literally all of Season 1 Arcane, and this is why Season 2 Arcane was not like that much. And in general, the quality of the writing, but you know, who cares?
Because not much changed yet.
So yeah, go watch Dragon's Blood if you haven't. It's great and you don't need to know anything about Dota to like it. But if you're a Dota player and you know some things, then there's gonna be some like, oh, that's a Game of Thrones side! And things like that. It's pretty great.
Second season, they say, Riot plans to redouble efforts to funnel Arcane fans into League of Legends, where they could purchase themed digital items. The game is free but earns billions of dollars yearly through the sales of in-game cosmetics and characters, according to current and former employees. Again, no citation, to which I would like to add that it was actually...
I mean, if you don't believe this, then I don't know what to say.
Directly confirmed that selling characters does nothing. I think it was August who confirmed...
Oh, so was that the emphasis on selling characters?
This on stream where in the past people were buying champions. These days...
It's skins, obviously, yeah.
Nope. Apparently new champions don't add anything to the game when it comes to earning more money. So that is technically...
that is a he doesn't understand the concept, okay? You need to look at this like this. An artist can probably make a $300 League of Legends skin in less than a week. And if they wanted to actually be not trash, they're gonna spend like 2 weeks on it and... Okay, I'm giving too much credit to fucking artists, they're retards. But you get the point, okay? It's one guy and he can do it in a week. And that shit is gonna make literally millions. Then you need to, then on the other hand, you have creating a champion, which takes months, planning, multiple people, bug testing, and all of that shit, which is so much more expensive. And that's why they're not compatible. I think he's missing it. Anyway, I'm tired. That was Necro 10 out of 10 League of Legends Dead. Have a nice day. Bye!